Are you ready to take your organization to the next level and become a game changer in your industry? Then look no further. Welcome to Yokai Business Show, where we bring you the world's top business thought leaders to share their secrets to success, from leadership development to finance, marketing, self-development, human resource management, and much, much more. Our guests reveal the strategies, tactics, and mindsets that have made them so successful. So let's dive in and learn from the best in the business. Awesome. Hey, welcome back to another great episode. Let me ask you a real question, and real quick. Have you ever thought or caught yourself thinking, I wish there was a way that I could get investors invest in my business without having to go after hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them? Maybe you found yourself wishing there was somebody to show you how to get people to come alongside you, to believe in your idea and help you get that idea into the market. Well, if you have, you're in the right place, because today my friend James Church, who is an Amazon bestseller, is here today to talk to you exactly about how to convince investors to invest in your business without you having to worry much about that. James, thanks again for joining us here, man.
Thanks for having me. Thrilled to be here.
And congratulations on making that great book a bestseller on Amazon. I know how much hard work it takes to make that, because not too long ago, we had our leadership book, that we've been talking about for weeks, become an international bestseller in 4 countries: Australia, UK, Canada, and there's another one. I nearly forgot about that. So it's Australia, UK, US, and Canada, 4 countries. So I know how much work it goes in there. So congratulations, my friend.
Thank you. Yeah, it was really, really exciting moment. And it was great to look there on the day of launch and be listed above Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Richard Branson in the entrepreneur category. That was a pretty cool personal moment. So yeah.
Amazing. Well, it's great. And for those who are looking to write books, just go write one and put all your effort into it. The feeling afterwards is truly amazing. Okay, let's dive deep. You've got a saying, James, which I absolutely love, about investing, which I think everybody needs to hear about. Would you share with everybody your saying?
Yeah, so the truth is that great ideas don't raise investment. Great communication does that. That's the phrase, and that's the phrase that's allowed our clients to raise 40 times more likely than any other than other founders out there looking to raise money. They've raised 220 million today, and it's all based off that principle that great ideas don't raise investment. Great communication does.
It's so true, because the amount of great ideas out there, and sometimes I speak to business owners and I think, oh my goodness, this idea, if it is implemented, could be a game changer in our industry. The communication is not great. And you guys have figured out how to do it very, very well. In fact, earlier on, you were telling me about a case study. Would you share a case study that showcased, how great communication truly makes a difference?
Yeah, so there's so many to choose from, but the one that sort of springs to mind is a company called Plend. We've worked with them on 2 of their last 2 investment rounds. One was their first round of investment, which was called a pre-seed round. This was just to get the idea off of the ground. They had this brilliant concept, but they were really struggling to communicate that in a way that investors would resonate with, because investors are looking for kind of 2 things primarily. One, a brilliant business idea, of course they are, but they're also looking for an incredible founder or incredible kind of team that can execute on that vision and make it a reality. And they weren't getting across the right message. They weren't communicating their value in the right way. And we helped them kind of craft their pitch materials, get them prepared for investment. And I think they were originally looking to raise 400K to get their idea off the ground. They ended up closing with 700K to get their
good place to be.
Yeah, and then a few years later, they came back to us ready to go with their next round of investment to really scale up. And we worked with them again on their assets, getting their pitch right. And they ended up raising a 40 million round in their second round of investment to really kick the business on, and obviously the valuation of that business is now huge. So that's what can happen if you get it right. You cut through the noise, you get the investors' attention, and you actually have investors queuing up wanting to invest your round, and you're in this luxury position of turning investors away because you don't need their money because you've got so many other people wanting to invest. That's kind of what we always aim for.
That's a good place to be, really. And that's what I want everybody listening to be in. And hence, we have you here. What's interesting about you, James, and your business partner is that you don't come from a financial background. You come from branding and communication. So tell me, how did you end up doing what you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, to cut a long story short, we basically started life, my business Robot Mascot, that was founded by my business partner, Nick Ruston. He founded a brand communication agency, brought me on board as a co-founder about 18 months later. And we built a brand communication agency, and we started, we always wanted to work with what we call pioneers, these incredible individuals that are building really exciting and innovative businesses. And we were doing brand projects for them, and lots of them wanted to then go on and raise funding, and they started asking for our help to do their pitch deck. Investors started to see the work we were doing and kind of said, look, if you could package this up, these decks are really high standard. Like, if we could, I wish every deck I got sent by a founder in my inbox was like this. If you can package that up, if you can figure out a way to bundle that up into a series of sort of support services for founders, you could have something really niche, really exciting here. And we went down that route, and over a period of about 12 to 18 months, we really researched the space, really got to understand the mind of an investor, exactly what they were looking for, developed a unique proposition, a service that no one else was offering, launched it into the market, and the rest is history. And we fully pivoted after about 18 months into investor readiness and being an investment readiness agency rather than a brand communication agency. But that core of brand, a layer of brand communication in everything that we do, is the thing that sets us apart from any other advisor that might come from a financial background, because we've got all that talent in-house, but we have this additional layer of brand communication overlaid over the top of everything we do. And that's what gives you cut through. That's what allows you to stand out from the crowd. That's the thing that ultimately gets the investors to take notice in the first place before they go into the detail. That's our secret weapon.
Wow, you have nailed it, and it's working very well. What's interesting is for a lot of people, and me included, initially when I was looking into this subject, I thought when you go for investment, or you want somebody to give you their money, or when you do that presentation, you want them to give you the money, just like we see in the Dragon's Den. But you've got a very different spin, a very different approach. Share that with everybody.
Yeah, so that's the mistake I think a lot of business owners make, right? Is when you're there, probably your only reference point for raising investment is Dragon's Den or Shark Tank, depending on where you live. And those shows are obviously made for TV, and real life isn't like that. There isn't stacks of cash on a table next to the individual. You're not really pitching for investment in that moment. What you're really pitching for is their time. What you're really asking for them to do is invest their time in finding out more about you and your business to make an informed decision on whether or not they want to invest. So what actually happens is you end up with that Dragon's Den style pitch, which is probably more of a Zoom conversation or a conversation on it in a coffee shop, but you're kind of pitching your idea, you're talking them through the concept and your strategy, telling them how much investment you need, and then they'll ask you to send through a business plan, financial projections, a full kind of pitch deck. They'll review it. They'll invite you in for second and third meetings. They'll go through this quite extended due diligence process to really find out whether or not you're the right business for them to invest into. And then they'll go for a legal process, and then they'll deposit the cash in your bank account. So what you're really doing with that pitch is just opening the door to that process of having continued conversation about your business and whether or not it makes a good investment opportunity for the particular investor you're talking to. So yeah, it's a much different process than they make it look on TV.
Yes. Well, what stands out from me there is, you got to get attention from them to want to spend some time with you and understand what you are trying to do. Because if you can't do that in the beginning, you don't have all this after stuff going to happen for you.
And you often hear in sales the phrase "people buy from people." I'm sure you've heard of that. And exactly the same thing with investors, right? They invest in people. They don't invest in ideas. They don't invest in businesses. They invest in people that they think can turn a vision into reality, that can turn a product into something that's commercially viable. They're backing, certainly at an early stage, when you're just getting that concept off the ground, or you're not a FTSE listed company. When you're in that early stage and you're looking to get it off the ground or grow and scale from a few 100K revenue to millions in revenue, they're backing the individual, they're backing the team. The people is the primary thing that they're backing, and then everything else sort of shapes the picture. But if the team can't get across that they can be trusted with their capital, that they have a good strategic plan that's going to deliver their investors the highest chance of getting a return, if they can't convince them that as an individual they're capable of that, then they're probably not going to raise the investment. It doesn't matter how good their idea is, if they can't communicate to them that they're this well-rounded individual that can turn their cash into a valuable asset, then they're not going to get the investment.
No, not at all. And one of the things that you and I were talking about earlier on really is what needs to happen during that initial stage. What is it that you need to portray? And you alluded to short and engaging. Would you talk about that initial meeting with potential investors?
Yeah. There's kind of two key areas that you could split into a few more areas, sort of 5 sections, but fundamentally there's 2 key things you need to get across in that initial pitch. And one is, yes, this is a brilliant idea, a brilliant concept that solves a really meaningful problem that lots of people have. And that market is huge and has the potential to scale up massively. So if your product is a success, it could be a massive success because there's so many people with this problem that need solving. So it's not just a great idea, it's a great idea in a big market. That's the first task, to convince the investor of that. The second task is to convince the investor that you are a credible team with a decent strategic plan that they can that reassures them that it's worth their time going into those second and third meetings. So you want to provide proof and evidence around the fact that this is a good idea with solving a meaningful problem. Any evidence you have, primary or secondary research to back that up. You want to be sharing your kind of short and long-term strategic plans, just a quick summary, so that they can see that it's worth, they can dig into it and find out a bit more information about it from you afterwards, but they know that you've got it there. And then you want to share with them your financial plans and kind of what it's going to cost to make this thing a reality, so that they can assess the financial risks involved in the business. And if you can achieve those 5 things, selling the concept, selling the value proposition, that this is a problem that needs solving, selling the evidence you have to back that up, selling the strategy and the plan you have to make it a reality, and selling the future financial performance of the business. If you can do those 5 things in a 10 to 15 minute pitch, you're going to get them hooked, and they're going to invite you in for further conversations.
Absolutely love that, the simplicity of that. Now, I know you've helped quite a lot of things. Which, what do you see as the main mistake that people often do, like the major mistakes when they're trying to convey their ideas and they're viable, that they're the right person for this project?
Yeah. So I think there's kind of four kind of key areas where founders struggle with this, with raising investment, or business owners when they're looking to raise investment. The first is putting together an investor-ready strategic plan that delivers the investor all the information they need. That short and long-term strategy that they can refer to as, this is the Bible, this is the blueprint of how we're going to deliver success. How are we going to create commercial success off of this idea? And they really struggle to turn their concept into something strategically viable. The second is the financial performance of the company, really understanding the financial risks as well as the financial rewards. So translating that strategic plan into how that looks financially. What does it deliver in terms of revenues and profit in the short and the long term, but also understanding the financial risks behind that. How much cash are you going to burn through to get to profitability? What are your acquisition metrics going to be? How much is it going to cost you to acquire a customer, and how profitable is that? And how are you going to drive down margins and increase performance? All of that kind of all of that kind of thinking, strategic thinking is missing. The pitch we talked about, being able to communicate.
Before we move on to pitch, I know there
Yeah.
will be people listening right now. They say, you know what, you've touched on a main thing there, and I don't know how to do that. In your experience, where can they start, or do you know of any websites or resources that they can go really to try and work on this?
Well, the Robot Mascot website's full of resources. My own website, we've got a very active blog with loads of content on there about this. We've got loads of free downloads. We've got a business plan template for investors. We've got a financial model template. We've got a value proposition worksheet. All of these things you can download for free to get going on this stuff. We've got a scorecard, so you can benchmark your own ability to raise investment. So you can do a 3-minute quiz and you can get tips on areas you need to improve if you are serious about raising investments. So loads of resources on the Robot Mascot website to get you going. Let's
give people the website so that those who are listening.
That's robotmascot.co.uk.
Incredible. Now that we have uncovered those key areas, maybe 2 for now, are there any other areas they need to pay particular attention if they're to increase their chances of getting that initial meeting, that initial, hey, I'm open to hear more?
Yeah, so that's the investor outreach, right? So very few founders have a ready-made network of high net worth individuals or angel investors that are queuing up to invest in their idea. Most of us don't have that high level network. So you've got to get really good at reaching out to these individuals in a cold way, but in a way that endears them to you and in a way that makes them want to engage with what you're offering. So you need to be able to reach out at scale. You need to be able to reach out not to 10 potential investors, but hundreds of potential investors if you want to close your round. And the most successful entrepreneurs that I've seen, once they're prepared and they've got their business plan, their financials, their pitch, and all of these things together, the next step is to run a campaign where you end up what I call kind of in an oversubscribed position. So let's say we're raising 500k to get our idea off the ground. So we look at that Plend example where they ended up closing 700k. That happened because they got themselves oversubscribed. They were in a position where they had more investors wanting to invest into them than they actually needed. And you can only do that by outreaching at scale and getting to a point where you've got more investment committed than you actually need. And that should be the goal for every founder, because if you fall slightly short of that, you can still close your round. But if you can get 50% oversubscribed or even get twice the offers that you need, you've got momentum, you've got leverage, all of the cards are in your hands because you've got a decision to make. You can either raise more money and take more cash into the business, which will probably mean you have to sell more equity in your business, and not every founder wants to do that. Or you can turn around to these investors and say, look, I've got more investors than I need. So some of you are going to have to miss out. You're one of my top pick investors. I'd love to have you on board. Are you coming in on this round? And you've got all of the cards, because if they say no, you just move to the next person on the list. So you're in this really privileged position that very few founders can get themselves into. But when they do all of this stuff I talk about, they can get themselves in this position and they can have leverage and momentum in their campaign, which allows them to close on the best deal terms, get the most money they possibly can, and then use that to really scale the business and increase the valuation of their company.
Yeah, incredible. Let's explore, how to do that campaign. Imagine it's Bill here listening, has never know that he needs investors, but doesn't even know where to start. So there's some great tools out there. So Crunchbase is my absolute favorite. So Google Crunchbase. You can get basically using Crunchbase, and it's a fairly low cost subscription, but you can do a lot of it for free with the free account. You can search investors over certain criteria. So let's say we've got a new footwear company. We're creating a new pair of trainers and we want investment for our new pair of trainers. I can go on there and I can look at UK investors that have invested, or anywhere in the world, but I can select UK investors that have invested in footwear brands or fashion and apparel brands at a early stage to the tune of whatever I'm raising, say 200k. And that will give me a whole list of people that have invested in that sector at my stage of development, and it will give me all of their LinkedIn profiles.
So now I can go and connect to all of those individuals on LinkedIn with a pitch, asking for a conversation. What you don't do is ask for investment. You don't say, hey, I'm launching a new footwear brand. Can I have some of your money? Like, the hell are you? Like, why would I respond to that?
Yes.
I've noticed that you've recently invested in company X, Y, and Z who are in the fashion and apparel sector. I'm launching a new footwear company. This is what we stand for. This is our ethos. I'd love to buy you coffee, have a chat sometime, see if there's a potential fit. Then you can talk about potentially raising investment in a few months' time. Would it be worth a further conversation when I'm ready to raise? So the more you can do now, if you're thinking about planning to raise investment in the next 3 to 6 months, start reaching out to these investors now, start building a conversation, and then start dropping into the conversation that you're raising around in a few months' time. Is it worth you sending them the pitch when you're ready to do so? And then you can get kind of a short list of investors that are emotionally connected to you, that buy into the vision already and are like, yes, as soon as you're ready to raise, let me have the details. I want to see this because I'd love to, if it works out, I'd love to back you because I really like you, I really like the business, I really like what you stand for.
Yeah.
So it's having that strategic mindset of kind of going, right, I'm planning ahead. I'm going to be raising investment in the next 3 to 6 months. So I'm going to start laying the foundations of that outreach now. That's the best way to do it. If you haven't got that time frame, then you're going to have to kind of find out their email addresses and then do some sort of cold email outreach. And you have to do that at a much larger scale because the chances of someone getting something in cold and saying, yeah, I'll look at your pitch and I'll have a meeting are much lower than someone they've built a relationship with. So you have to be able to reach out to hundreds of investors to get maybe a handful of meetings rather than building up real meaningful relationships over time. So they're the two strategies really. One, big cold outreach because you haven't got much time, or smaller outreach with meaningful connections, building relationships, and then you'll get the investment eventually. And then the final tip just on that, if we've got time, is just to this phrase that I love, which is ask for investment, get advice. Ask for advice, get investment. So if you get your first investors are probably the people who see themselves as advisors to you. So if you can build a network of high net worth individuals, but you know that they can afford to invest because they're on this list from Crunchbase of investors, but you approach them saying you're an expert in my sector, say the footwear sector, like as per our example, just looking for 30 minutes of your time. Can I buy you coffee? I'd love to get some advice on the direction of our business because I'm sure you've seen and done it all. Then build the relationship. Eventually, the conversation will come towards investment, and you'll go, "Oh, I've never really thought about it." Well, funny you should ask. We're actually thinking of launching a round, and it's almost their idea, but you've built that relationship with them. So. Yeah, ask for investment, get advice. Ask for advice, get investment is another good phrase to remember.
What a way of getting there, and I can see how that works because people want to be seen as advisors. You are appealing to their ego to become, mentors and people who are helping other people, and that's actually works. That's incredible. Well, we're coming toward the end of our time here, James, but we have covered quite a lot. That if anybody is to take this and apply one or two of what you've shared, would change the trajectory of their journey to getting that funding that you need. But out of everything that we've talked about, or maybe there is one or two more things that that if anybody is looking to get investment, if they are to nail this on top of everything that we've done, they increase their chances of success by 10, 20, 40, or however manifold. Would you share with us what those things could be?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've covered so much. I can only summarize what we've covered, but there are just 4 fundamentals. 4 fundamentals you take away today. Have a great strategic plan, really understand your numbers, have a short, sharp and articulate pitch that engages the investor to invest their time, not their money, and run a strategic outreach campaign that builds relationships and doesn't ask for money. If you can do those 4 things, and you can do those 4 things well, you'll have no trouble in raising investment for your business.
Wow, incredible. Well, James, where can people connect with you to carry on learning from what we've shared?
Yeah, so jump on LinkedIn, connect with me on LinkedIn, just search my name, James Church, I should pop up. That's probably the best place. That's where I hang out most, but I'm also on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook as well. And I post on all of those channels. I post daily insights on raising investment, fortnightly videos onto the Robot Mascot YouTube channel as well. And we've already mentioned the Robot Mascot blog. And then finally, I'd love to offer your listeners a gift, if I may,
Sure.
to get a free copy of my book. If they want a free copy of my book, just go to pitchready.co.uk. Fill in a short 3-minute quiz, get a 12-page report on your investment readiness, and a free copy of my book delivered to your door. So if you want to do that, go to pitchready.co.uk, and I'd love to gift you all a copy to keep the learning going.
Incredible, absolutely incredible. Well, James, you are truly the star when it comes to this aspect of investment. And if you want the book, Investable Entrepreneur, How to Convince Investors your business is the one to back, you just need to go straight and get that book from James. And again, if you want to learn what works today, not what used to work, but what works today, just reach out to James' website or just go straight to LinkedIn to find out more. In fact, I think you would be glad that you have done that. James, once again, thank you so much for being generous with both your time and your knowledge to our audience today.
You're very welcome. Thanks ever so much for having me.
Indeed. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, we want to encourage you to keep coming back. You keep applying what you're learning, because nothing happens until you apply these discoveries that you're making today. And if you haven't got the new book that we have out there, please go get it. It is on Amazon or even somewhere around this recording. You get that great book, 8 Qualities for Great Leadership, Critical Elements for Current and Future Success. And finally, if you want to showcase your products, your services, we have created a directory of both coaches and consultants. Just go to yokaidirectory.com. There'll be a link below here where you can register to find out who are the coaches, who are the consultants, or if you are the coach and you are the consultant, you can register your details so people can find you easily there. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, live well, live with passion. Know that the best is truly, truly yet to come. And again, thanks, James, for being here.
Thank you. Cheers.
Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to Yokai Business Show. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode and have gained valuable insights and inspiration from our amazing guest. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review to help us spread the word. Also, be sure to check out our Leadership Ultimate Success Mastermind program, which is designed to help you and leaders in our community to do great things and support each other along their leadership journey. Until next time, live well, live with passion, know that the best is truly yet to come.